Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Data Insights with Gaurav. This video is part of the YouTube series Pandas for Data Analysis. Today, in this video, we'll continue working with columns in the data frame. If you haven't watched my earlier videos, I encourage you to go and watch my earlier videos. In this video, we talked about data loading and how to create data frame in Pandas by reading through hard-coded values or through multiple sources. And in the next video, we talked about data cleaning, where we talked about working with columns in the data frame around renaming the columns, right, using dictionary mapping, reformatting column names by converting them to lowercase, removing spaces within the column names, and applying custom formatting to column names. So if you haven't watched the video, I encourage you to go and watch these videos. I'll leave the link to these videos in the I button, right? So let's continue with our demo. So in this demo, we will be adding columns to the data frames. Okay, so we'll add new columns to the existing data frame that we had in the earlier video. So we'll create a new column with a constant value. We'll create a new column based on existing columns using some arithmetic logic, and we'll create a new column using some conditional logic. Right. So let's begin. So let me just run the earlier cells. Right. So this will load the data into the data frame. Right. So if you remember in the earlier video, we talked about custom formatting. So I have applied the column list. I have prepended my organization name, which is Data Insights with Gaurav, to every column name in the data frame. And this is how your data frame looks like. So it has DIWG underscore and then the order ID and stuff like that, right? So now let me just get rid of that organization name, right? So what I'm doing here is I am cleaning that up. So I'm saying go to the columns, right? So df.columns gives you the entire column list, right? It gives an index like object. .str is a string accessor. And from there, we are using a function called string slice replace. So what this function does, it takes the start value, end value. So I know that DIWG is 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So, and then underscore is 4, right? So I'm saying from 0 to 5, remove and replace it with nothing, right? So which means just get rid of that organization name, right? So if I run this, now you can see that order ID, earlier I had DIWG underscore order ID. Now I only have order ID, right? Just for the sake of simplicity, I got rid of that custom organization addition, right? So string slice, I have used slice replace, right? Function which takes 0, and this is like exclusive, right? So 0 to 4. So it removed that DIWG, right? So now this is our data frame that we have. Now let's say I want to add a new column to this data frame, right? That is what the video is all about, right? So let's try to add a new column. Let's say I want to add a payment method to this given data frame where I want to say everybody paid through a credit card. So how to do it? So we are replacing credit card, which is a constant value. So how, very simple. What you have to do is df and then write the new column name, right? So this will add a new column to the data frame with the value, constant value, credit card. So if I do this, you will see that a new payment method has been added to the data frame and everybody has a constant value called credit card, right? So this is how you create a new column, right? By adding a constant value to every row in that column, right? So that's how you do it. The next case, now let's say I want to add a new column called total price, where I want to say that the total price of the row is equal to the quantity that the person has ordered multiplied by the price of every product in that particular thing, right? So let's say this person C001 has ordered a widget, right? And the price of that widget is 9.99 rupees or dollars, whatever that currency is. So 9.99 rupees, and we are multiplying that with 10, right? So we'll get the total price for this given order ID 1001. So how to do that? Again, so we have to say df, then within square brackets, total price. So this will create a new column, and the value that is there is now coming from an expression, right? This expression multiplies the quantity for that given row, right? For that given row, it will multiply the quantity with the price. So if I do 10 into 9.99, it should be 99.9, right? So that should be the total price for order ID 1001, right? So let's try to run this. So if I see here, right, the total price is 99.90. How did I get that? So I multiplied the quantity with the price, right? So this is how you create a new column based on existing columns using some arithmetic operations, right? Moving on, let's say I want to create a new column called discounted, right? Where I want to say that if the price is greater than 10 rupees, then I have to say that the quantity, right, the particular row or the particular product can be discounted. And if the price is less than 10, it cannot be discounted, right? So I want to add a new column called discounted, where it should say true if your price is greater than 10, and it should say false when the price is less than 10, right? Like for example, for this row widget, the price is less than 10, so it should say discounted column should say false, right? For gadget, it should say true because it's greater than 10, right? So I'm creating a new column called discounted, where I'm saying that I'm using a conditional logic. So what is this NP? So I'm importing numpys, right? So generally you tend to write like this, now import numpy as NP. So this is the alias, right? So I'm saying np.where. So I'm using the where function within the numpy library, right? So this where function, how does it work? So it takes in a condition and X and Y, right? So it works something like this. It works like an if else, right? So if this condition is true, then it will do this. Otherwise, it will do this, right? So if condition true, then this, else this, right? So it acts as a if else statement. So I'm saying here, if the price is greater than 10, right? So for this row, if the price is greater than 10, then the discounted column should have true, otherwise it should have false, right? For this case, it will be 9.99 is greater than 10, it should be false. So it will just print, it will take false in the discounted column, right? So let's try this. So now you can see here, right? So widget, you have the discounted column as false, right? Why? Because this price is less than 10, right? And this is true because this price is greater than 10, right? So it acts as a if else statement, right? So this is how you can generate a new column called discounted by using some conditional logic, right? Last, let's see what if I have multiple conditions, right? Here I had only a single condition where I want to say that the price is greater than 10, do something, right? Let's say I have some different conditions where I want to say, I want to do something on the status column. So let's say if the status is pending, I want to, create a new column called category, where if the status is pending, I want to say that it should have the value processing. The category column should have the value transit when the status is shipped, and when the status is delivered, it should have the value completed, right? So this is as good as I'm implementing an if else if ladder, right? So if status is pending, the column should have processing. Else if the status is shipped, the column should have in transit. And else if the status is delivered, it should have completed. Else it should have unknown, right? So it's as good as implementing an if else ladder, right? So how to do it? So we have to create. So first, what I'm doing, I'm creating conditions array, right? So I'm writing the conditions for that data frame, and then I'm creating a new array called values, what the value should be, and then I'm creating a new column called category, right? Where I'm using np.select. So I'm again using numpy array and using a function called select, right? So what does this function do? It helps you create an if else if ladder. So it takes in a condition list and a choice list, right? And a default value, right? So this is my condition list, this is my choice list, and this is my default value. So here what I'm doing, I'm saying take this condition and check if the status is pending, then the value should be processing. Else if the status is shipped, the value should be in transit. Else if the status is delivered, the value should be completed. And if it doesn't match any of this condition list, then the default value should be unknown, right? So in our case, we if you look at our data frame, right, and if I look at the status column, right, we have, what do we have? We have some pending, shipped, delivered, pending, shipped, right? So we have something from these status only, right? So which means we'll never get a default value, right? Let's try to run this, right? So if I go and look at the column, category column, right? So you can see that when it is pending, right? When it is pending, it should be processing, right? So it is processing. When it is shipped, right? When it is shipped, it should be in transit. So it is in transit. And when it is in delivered, it should be completed. So yes, it is in completed, right? So that's how you create a new column. So to summarize, what did we do here? We created a column with a hard-coded value. We created a column using some expressions from other column list, and we used some conditional logic, a simple if-else statement here, and we used multiple if-else-if statement ladder to generate a new column, right? So that's how you can add a new column to the existing data frame, right? So that's it for this video. In the upcoming video, what we'll do is we'll try to see how to update an existing column and how to remove an existing column, right? So in this video, we added a new column. So there may be requirements where you would want to, update an existing value inside the column and remove an existing column, right? So that's it. That's what we'll do in the upcoming videos. And if you like my video, consider subscribing to my channel for more such content and hitting that like button. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching. See you around. Bye-bye.